Join us on this bushcraft adventure into history, building an Irish Celtic roundhouse from the Iron Age and medieval times. Every Friday, a new episode until the roof is finally finished. Uploaded at noon Eastern Time US and 5 PM UK. Enjoy!
A pole. We got one. Yep.
Later in this episode, we'll come to applying the reed on the roof. But the story of our water reed began already a few months earlier.
Man, that ice, man.
When during the first harvest, our site broke.
You just hit a frozen lump with the tip. And then all the force comes here. And then it went snap.
We only had a few dozen bundles in yet and needed much more reed for the roof. We bought a new side blade with the help of Neil, a friendly Irishman. A side blade has to be razor sharp for cutting, so before sharpening, the blade is often peened. Hereby, the blade edge is stretched out and made thinner, so that it is even easier to sharpen. A more experienced sideman would peen his blade just with hammer and anvil, but I use this peening jig to peen our blade. This willow stick attached to the side is called the boil or bow. Together with the pricker which I assembled on it, the bow helps to guide the reed all in one direction so that it lays in the right orientation and can easily be bundled. the above ground reed stem is annual and dies off in the winter. When the leaves are shed, the reed is ready for harvest. We were committed to harvest all materials for the roundhouse ourselves, locally. However, finding suitable reed land with enough availability and permission to cut turned out to be difficult. Water reed often grows at lake shores, but these are often protected. However, harvesting with hand tools is not seen as having a high ecological impact and can actually help conserve the reed field. And so, it was the end of February and we got ministerial permission to cut on this specific reed field. In these natural water reed lands, old, half-rotten reed stems from earlier years are still present in between the good stems from this year's growth. This brought concerns. Would the reed of these natural lands be of sufficient quality? Because normally reed for thatching comes from managed lands, which are cut every year. Harvesting reed from natural fields might not be so straightforward.
Yeah. Right, where's the next?
I guess that way.
This way. It's all pretty much the same.
Is there still hope with the reed quality?
Well, this is what it is. Like, it's not like that. It's shorter and it's thinner. And a lot of fluff in it.
The reed harvest had only just started. After weeks of preparation, the roundhouse now has a base layer of scraw, seen in the previous episodes. We have our reed, our scallops, our liggers, wooden thatching tools, and some reed clamping pegs. All harvested and made by ourselves from natural materials in our surroundings. Thatching can finally start. It all starts with creating a sort of ridge on the bottom. This long roll I had already made the day before from reed bound together with willow shoots. We will see how they are made in a future episode. The purpose of this bundle will soon become clear when the first layer of thatch is laid over it. And no more midges. Isn't it great? Good morning, folks. Yeah, made a little fire. We do it usually on the stone here. You can even move the fire around where we're working. And it really helps, you know, the warmth and the smoke. All the midges be gone soon. So, first day proper thatching. As well as material hauling. Bringing the reed to the roundhouse. Hopefully we see Dylan soon. Myself, now I'm camping over here in the hammock. I will do so for probably the coming weeks. I'll be full on the roof. And we got it all done by the end of this month.
in June it should be done.
For processing the reed, another important implement was needed, which I had bushcrafted in preparation of the reed harvest last winter, with the help of a froe to split wood. Planks were made of sycamore and the dowels from seasoned ash. It's important that the dowels are seasoned, otherwise they would shrink and the planks might come loose. It's just a simple bushcraft board, but an important implement in the reedlands and beyond. These horizontals keep the reed down. They're called liggers, or locally also known as sway. The liggers are then held down by many thatching spars, in Ireland also known as scallops. They are hammered in like a staple and find grip in the underlaying sod layer. And so the main purpose of the sod layer should now be clear. Without the sods, the scallops would have nothing to grip into. Modern day thatching uses other techniques, such as screws and steel wire, to attach the reed to the timber frame. But here in Ireland, up till about 100 years ago, many roofs were thatched like this, with just an underlayer of straw and scallops gripping into it. Notice the curve in this first layer of water reed. The previous applied roll elevates the bottom side of the reed, and given that the scallops fix the reed tight, this creates pressure and the curve in the reed layer. The reed is now less likely to ever slide down from underneath the liggers. If the thatching is done well, this curvature should stay visible in all layers working upwards. As a rule of thumb, in thatching, approximately 10 bundles are used per square meter roof. With the roundhouse having a roof surface of almost 80 square meters, we would need close to a whopping 800 bundles. That is much more than the 5 donkey cart loads of reed that are currently laying in the house.
That is risky. Smooth. Have we a great assistant, Dylan?
Am I the assistant?
No, Mr. Kennison. Oh, you were the master bundler. You want to make a shine on this foot stick? Pick up the in front of that camera. Hey, there's a tree in the way, ouwe. Pond is a tree, he said so.
Put it down. Guys, we should make a raft.
Yeah, we'll put Canada on there and we'll push them off and we can work in peace and quiet and then we'll reel you back in at the end of the day. Take it, yeah. Look at that.
Okay, let's do this then. Hi. How are ya? Hi.
For step 1, get rid of the shite.
It was David from West Cork Thatching who had experience with harvesting reed from natural fields and shared great insights. He told us we could do with a reed comb and shared a drawing of his own reed comb design using old hay forks. Based on that, we came up with our own version, modifying our multifunctional bushcraft working bench. By placing a fork head on the bench, we didn't have to bend down when combing the reed. With this stand, we can comb the reed and rake out weeds and old brittle shoots, while alternatively tapping the reed on the underlaying board, by which all ends come together. A homogeneous bundle is created.
And you have a knot on your running end. Wrap it around your bundle. Wrap it around the the string, then you make another knot.
Slowly, slowly.
And then you crank it. And then you lock it in place. And then you cut it off. You make your knots for the next time around. And then repeat times 800. It's like a Canadian jam knot. It's similar to that. Maybe like a version or a variety of the Canadian jam knot. But anything that holds with friction, you know, like the more tension you have on it, the more it holds itself, so it works.
Yeah, Mr. Kensington.
Yes, Mr.
Last
Peterson.
half an hour of the day. It's power hour.
Well, now it is definitely power hour.
It's the time of the day to make Daddy proud. And Mommy as well. And Smooth Fix Team. Last half an hour. Let's go.
You're pretending you're doing my job, are you?
No. Is that all?
Hang right.
Yeah.
Right.
This batch of reed seems to be of good quality. However, it is very crooked and long, making it hard to thatch with. We decided to cut these long bundles in half, making them hopefully more manageable. The small bundle tops might be good for towards the top of the roof, where their more cone shape can help prevent a buildup of reed near the roof tip. In the next episode, Dylan joins in with the thatching and we'll make some paste thatching the reed on the roof. Also check out the other episodes. starting with digging the foundation in episode 1. Thanks for watching and support this project by becoming a Patreon, where I also post some extra roundhouse building scenes not seen in the main episodes.